il comandante e il cappellano, seguiti dall'ufficiale comandante della formazione, effettueranno l'ispezione. Quindi il comandante presenterà al rappresentante del Santo Padre.
Today we'll have 23 new guards which will be sworn in, and as is indicated by the name, the Swiss Guards all come from the state of Switzerland. And for those of you who are not familiar with this ceremony, I'll quickly go through the order of events before the ceremony begins.
Vous allez assister maintenant à l'entrée des recrues. Le piquet.
In a few moments, the ceremony will begin with the fanfare by the guard and the musicians, whilst the guard enter into the courtyard of San Damaso. The first main event will be the presentation of the detachment by the deputy commander to the commander, who is Colonel Christoph Graf. Following the presentation, the regiment will stand at attention and be inspected by the commander, as well as the chaplain, Father Columban Reichlin, and the Sergeant Major of the Swiss Guard. The regiment will then be presented by the commander to the representative of the Holy Father, after which the commander will give a short speech. Following the speech by the commander, there will be a speech by the chaplain of the guards, followed by the anthems of the Vatican and Switzerland. At the conclusion of the anthems, the Sergeant Major, who will hold the guard flag, will step forward, and the recruits will make the oath by holding onto the guard flag. After the swearing of the last recruit, the Sergeant Major will return to his post, and then it will turn into a much more lively atmosphere where there will be a short concert with several pieces of music played by the musicians of the Swiss Guard. And to conclude the ceremony, the commander will inform the representative of Pope Francis that the swearing-in ceremony is over, and the guard will return inside.
Kommandant und Gardekaplan schreiten, begleitend vom kommandierenden Offizier, die Formation zu einer letzten Inspektion ab. Anschließend meldet der Kommandant.
And this swearing-in ceremony of new recruits takes place every year on this date, May the 6th, as it is an important day in the life of the Pontifical Swiss Guards, because it marks the date when 147 Swiss Guards were killed whilst protecting Pope Clement VII during the sacking of Rome, which took place in 1527. And since then, the new recruits have sworn an oath on this day as they officially begin their service working for the Holy Father. This is the second day of official ceremonies for the new recruits. Yesterday evening they celebrated Vespers in the Church of Our Lady of Mercy in Campo Santo Teutonico, followed by laying the wreath in honour of the Swiss Guards who died during the sack of Rome in 1527. And this was attended by Archbishop Edgar Peña Parra, who is the substitute for General Affairs of the Secretariat of State. And this morning, the Swiss Guards held a Mass, which was celebrated by His Eminence Cardinal Kurt Koch, who is one of the cardinals we can see on the screen now. He's the prefect of the Dicastery for the Promotion of Christian Unity, and he celebrated the Mass this morning in St. Peter's Basilica. And we can see there now the substitute for the General Affairs of the Secretary of State, Archbishop Edgar Peña-Parra, has just also made his way into the cortile, the courtyard of San Damaso. So as I said, this is a very poignant celebration due to the date falling on the anniversary of the sacking of Rome. And last year the ceremony was held inside the Paul VI audience hall, but this year thankfully it is possible for it to be held outside in the San Damaso Courtyard in accordance with the usual traditions which take place. We see now there several of the musicians who are preparing to process into the courtyard, as well as the flag which will be processed in and onto which the 23 new recruits will swear their oath to the Holy Father. And last year the Holy Father gave an address to the Pontifical Swiss Guards, and he urged the recruits who were sworn in last year to live out their task as a Christian and communal witness. And he reminded them that the activities are not carried out individually but as a community, which is why the Swiss Guard is called the core, or the body of the Swiss Guard. The Holy Father also encouraged the Swiss Guards to allow themselves to be formed, both in their Christian and spiritual life, as well as their formation which they will need to carry out the various tasks which will be given to them in this role. And at the end of his speech, which was read out by the substitute, Archbishop Edgar Peña-Parra, he entrusted the families, the friends and the Swiss Guards themselves to the intercession of our Blessed Mother, of the patrons St. Martin and St. Sebastian, as well as the protector of the Swiss Confederation, St. Nicholas of Flüe. And the Swiss Guard is the world's oldest military corps, founded by Julius II in 1506, and it is now led by Colonel Christoph Graf, who will give a speech in a short time, but now we hear the start of the fanfare, which will officially begin this ceremony, and in a few moments the procession will enter the San Damaso Courtyard. We can see now the full gala uniform which the Swiss Guards are wearing, which includes the armour as well as the helmet with red feathers. They're also carrying their infamous swords as they enter at a very leisurely pace in procession, following the musicians into the courtyard. And we can see that the two drummers at the front of the procession are wearing differently plumed helmets to indicate that their role in the Swiss Guard, and they're followed by the rest of the procession in their red plumed helmets. And we see the 23 new recruits who are being sworn in today, and this is usually a period of time of office of between 2 years and 26 months. However, this can be extended in personal circumstances. And we also see the flag now, which is being carried in, flanked by two guards armed with swords, and the flag is being carried by the Sergeant Major of the Swiss Guard. And he will also be there accompanying and holding the flag once the recruits are making their oath. And as I said, he's accompanied by two guards. They're called the Flag Guard, and they are corporals in the order, and you can see that because they're accompanied with their swords. The guards are now called to attention, and they will shortly be presented to the commander. The men now fall into a more relaxed pose and await their inspection. The commander, Colonel Christoph Graf, is now being accompanied by the chaplain, Father Columban Reichlin, and they are now carrying out their inspection. They're accompanied by the Vice Commander, Loïc-Marc Rossier, who has presented the new recruits to the Commander and stands behind them as they carry out their inspection. And after completing their inspection, the commander will now present the regiment to Archbishop Edgar Peñaparra. But before doing so, they salute the flag of the Swiss Guard, and the commander and chaplain now walk towards the papal representative. And salute him. And following from this, there will be a speech by the commander himself.
Parla il comandante della Guardia Svizzera, il colonnello Christoph Graf.
Le commandant de la garde suisse, le colonel Christoph Graf, prend la parole.
Es spricht Gardekommandant Oberst Christoph Graf.
Eccellentissimo sostituto della Segreteria di Stato,
Most Excellent Substitute of the Secretary of State, Monsignor Edgar Peña Parra,
Vicepresidente della Confederazione Elvetica,
Most Excellent
Signora Consigliera
President
Federale Viola Amherd,
President Viola Hammett,
Presidente del Consiglio Nazionale della Confederazione Elvetica, Signor Martin Candinas, Illustrissima Presidente del Consiglio degli Stati della Confederazione Elvetica, Signora Brigitta Heberli-Koller, Illustrissimo Signor Landamann del Cantone Argovia, Jean-Pierre Gallati, Illustrissimi membri del Consiglio di Stato del Cantone Argovia e della delegazione ufficiale, Eccellentissimo Presidente della Conferenza Episcopale Svizzera, Monsignore Felix Gmür, Eccellentissimo, Illustrissimo Ambasciatore della Svizzera presso la Santa Sede, Eccellenza Denis Knobel, Illustrissimo Capo dell'Esercito Svizzero, Comandante di Corpo Thomas Süssli, Eminenze e Eccellenze, distinti membri del corpo diplomatico presso la Santa Sede, Illustrissima Presidente della Fondazione
the Colonel welcoming the dignitaries,
Signora Ruth Metzler-Arnold,
both from the Holy See and those attached to the Swiss state,
Caserma della Guardia Svizzera Pontificia, Signor Jean-Pierre Roth, illustre autorità civili, militari e religiosi, cari genitori, fratelli e sorelle delle guardie,
and now he welcomes the family and friends of the guards,
stimati ufficiali, sottufficiali e guardie, care ex guardie. Soyez les bienvenus. Au nom de la garde suisse pontificale,
a very warm welcome to you all.
souhaite à tous
On behalf of the Pontifical Swiss Guards, I warmly greet all of you who have come from near or far, or who are currently connected with us here in the Cortile San Damaso via live streaming. On this day, we remember the 147 Swiss Guards who heroically gave their lives for Pope Clement VII during the sack of Rome on the 6th of May 1527. Traditionally, on that day, the guards who joined us after their last oath take the oath. 23 guards are ready to approach the flag shortly to take the oath, which will be read by our chaplain. In a loud voice, each of them will declare their willingness to serve the Holy Father with loyalty, fidelity and honour, and even to give their lives for him if the situation should require it. I would like to thank the parents and siblings They are the most important reference people, and their support, especially through prayer, is essential, since not a few of these guards are spending an extended period in a foreign country for the first time. A very big thank you also goes to our Holy Father, Pope Francis, as well as our superiors in the Secretariat of State. In the 517 years of our service, they have always shown us great trust and have given us benevolent support. And this honours us and fills us with deep joy. And the Colonel continues in German, saying, "The guards who will take the oath today have marched into the San Damasus Courtyard, externally festively paraded and well prepared in their uniform. They appear before you in their gala uniforms, with their cuirass, white collar, silver helmet and red plume. It's almost impossible to distinguish one from the other. But behind each uniform is a person, in his own right, with his own story. They are here with different experiences and motivations. And yet, they are a unity. What unites them is not only yet their uniforms, but also their requirements. They are all young Swiss men, Catholic, unmarried, aged between 19 and 30, at least 174 centimeters tall. And they have completed a 4-year vocational training course leading to a Swiss certificate or a school-leaving certificate. They come from all parts and language areas of Switzerland and are willing to give at least 26 months of their lives to the Catholic Church and to the Holy Father. They have also undergone basic military training in their homeland, and as a result of their military service, they are accustomed to wearing a uniform. However, the uniform of the Pope's personal bodyguard has something extraordinary, something attractive, and something compelling about it. The uniform we wear today was not designed by Michelangelo, as many guidebooks erroneously report, but it's the work of Colonel Jules Repon, who introduced it in 1914. It is part of the Vatican's daily image and is a sought-after subject for photos of tens of thousands of pilgrims and tourists who visit the Vatican every day. Our uniform performs an important communicative task. On the one hand, it indicates that we belong to a corps that has existed for over 500 years and which has been entrusted with the important task of looking after the security of the Holy Father and his residents. On the other hand, we must be aware that, as the visiting card of the Holy Father in the Vatican, as well as a widely seen advertising poster for Switzerland, we are entrusted with a great responsibility. The wearing of the uniform and its correct appearance characterizes the public image of our corps. In addition, the uniform must convey a sense of protection, competence, respect and authority. But it also demands that everyone identify personally with service, loyalty, fidelity and reliability. And the Colonel now speaks in Italian, saying, Gottfried Keller's short story, Kleider machen Leute, which is clothes make people, or the Italian phrase l'abito non fa il monaco, must continue to remind us that the clothes do not tell us who is in them. The uniform does not make the guard, just like a nice suit says nothing about a person's character. Wearing special clothes, uniforms, work clothes, this also carries certain dangers. Behind these clothes, one can hide in anonymity. They can change a man's personality, and it can lead to arrogance, conceit, pride, and an abuse of power. More than 800 years ago, in the market square of Assisi, the son of a rich merchant stripped completely of his clothes in front of a large crowd, created a scandal. He was St. Francis. At first he was considered crazy and was laughed at. Then that rebel became one of the most important reformers of the Church. And even still today, he is one of the saints who is most loved by the people. With that dramatic gesture, he wanted to demonstrate what Bishop Algemissen, the Bishop Emeritus of Fulda, wrote very aptly in an article. Neither goods nor money, neither power, glory, or ostentatious clothes or titles can ultimately conceal the fact that man, every man, is and remains poor, subordinate, and dependent. St. Francis himself expressed it in this way: what man is worth before God, he is worth, and no more. Dear guards, these words exhort us to be authentic people. Do not wear this uniform as a stage dress, but as an expression of your service. Fill it with your personality, in the knowledge that you are part of a great whole. This is not something that we must achieve alone, but what we can always count on others and on God's help. Your willingness to perform this service gives me great respect in all of us. I thank you from the bottom of my heart for your decision, and I wish you well in your oath of office. That was the commander of the Swiss Guard, Colonel Christoph Graf, and now the chaplain, Father Columban Reichlin, will give a short speech as well as the reading of the oath formula. And he will speak in German, French, Italian, and also in Romansh, the 4 official languages of Switzerland.
De la formule du jurement dans les 4 langues nationales et propose quelques réflexions spirituelles pour le service.
Gardekaplan Pater Columban Reichlin verliest nun in den 4 Landessprachen der Schweiz die Eidelsformel und gibt einige geistliche Anregungen für den Dienst mit.
Liebe Gardisten, mutig und entschlossen haben Sie sich vor Monaten
Dear guests, with courage and determination, months ago you placed yourselves at the service of the Pontifical Swiss Guard to protect the Holy Father and his residence, ready even to give your lives if necessary.
Diese Entscheidung in Ihrem jungen Alter
This decision at your young age deserves respect and recognition.
gesunden Fischen gleich
Like a
haben
healthy
Sie sich
fish,
entschieden,
you've decided to swim against the tide,
zu schwimmen. Gegen den Strom der
against the current of indecision and comfort,
gegen den Strom
against the current of the culture of unbridled pleasure
und blinden
and the blind pursuit of profit,
gegen den Strom
against the current of
getriebener
excessive
Selbstbeschäftigung, die
self-preoccupation
nicht erwachsen
that does
werden,
not want to take
keine
responsibility,
Verantwortung übernehmen will. Teils auch gegen den
partly
Strom
also
der
against the
Meinungen
current
und
of opinions
Überzeugungen
and convictions
Ihres Freundes und
of your circle of
Kollegenkreises.
friends and colleagues, as well as against the current of ignorance and indifference towards faith and the Church. Dear Guards, in your decision you did not follow the trends of the moment or cheap life plans, but sought and fought for what you recognize in your innermost self as your personal path and destiny.
Diese Achtsamkeit gegenüber der eigenen
This focused on your vocation, the courage to follow this intuition, and the willingness to accept restrictions and difficulties for this purpose distinguish you and predestine you for this honourable task as Pontifical Swiss Guards.
Bewahren Sie sich über die Zeit in der Garde
Beyond the period you'll spend in the Guard, maintain the courage and determination to seek and follow with your head and heart the path that corresponds to your interests and talents, to your vision of life, and to your personal vocation. This will enable you to serve God, the world and society in the best way possible, and to find fulfillment and authentic happiness for yourself. Your decision to serve in the Pontifical Swiss Guard now culminates in the oath.
Ich schwöre, treu, redlich,
And the oath is, I swear I will faithfully, loyally and honourably serve the Supreme Pontiff Pope Francis and his legitimate successors, and I dedicate myself to them with all my strength.
Ich übernehme dieselben Verpflichtungen
I assume the same commitment with regard to the Sacred College of Cardinals whenever the Apostolic See is vacant. Furthermore, I promise to the commanding captain and my other superiors respect, fidelity and obedience. I swear to observe all that honour, all that the honour of position demands of me.
Cher garde,
And the chaplain now speaks in French.
vous allez jurer publiquement et avec détermination
Dear Guards, in a few moments you will swear publicly and resolutely to serve the Holy Father with fidelity and willingness, even to give your life, to defend him if necessary. This oath testifies to an impressive attitude of values and commitment. Your time here in the Pontifical Swiss Guard is a unique school of life. It will provide you with many opportunities to further develop and to consolidate this valuable basis of values, to learn new things, and to continue to grow and mature as men and as a person. In the barracks, you'll be confronted with life in an extended family, which will allow you to experience familiarity and a spiritual home. But it will also require consideration and renunciation of you. You will be challenged mentally and physically, for example, through language and service training, and continue an education. You will learn and experience discipline and discretion. You'll be trained in rules of conduct and understanding people, and how to react positively and gradually in difficult circumstances. You will experience multiple, enriching, and sometimes challenging encounters, and relationships with your superiors, other members of the corps. And during your guard duty, you'll have plenty of time to address questions and the issues of life and faith, and to reflect on yourselves and your personal journey in the future. Dear Guards, make the most of this time here in Rome. Discover and train your personal talents and skills, and let them flourish. Remain people who are willing to serve and face life and its daily challenges responsibly, thus gaining valuable experience for a comprehensive awareness of life and creation.
Notre Église et notre société ont besoin de
Our church and our society need these people more than ever. You are an example to us with your willingness and your determination to serve with dedication, which you will now testify to with your oath. And the chaplain now reads the oath in French.
Le souverain pontife régnant François et ses légitimes successeurs, de me dévouer pour eux de toutes mes forces, sacrifiant si nécessaire ma vie pour leur défense. J'assume les mêmes devoirs vis-à-vis du collège des cardinaux durant la vacance du siège apostolique. Je promets en outre aux commandants et aux autres supérieurs respect, fidélité et obéissance. Je le jure aussi vrai que Dieu et nos saints patrons m'assistent. Care guardie,
And in Italian, the chaplain says, with the oath you will publicly and determinedly, here in the Damasus Courtyard this afternoon, your readiness for a special service in a significant place. The Vatican is a place of faith with its history, art and architecture, with its charisma and charm, is incomparable. Year after year, this lively and spirit-filled centre of Christianity attracts millions of people and makes them ready to return home, inwardly edified and strengthened. Join this great crowd of God-seekers and pilgrims, dear guards. Take advantage of this place of grace to get to know the Church and the Christian faith even better during your service here in Rome. And knowing the Church and our faith is to know Jesus Christ. He is the core of our faith. He is the meaning and purpose of our life, indeed, of all creation. All things were created through him and in view of him. In him, all things subsist. This is what Paul reminds us in his letter to the Colossians. Dear guards, live your service in your daily life with an open, curious heart and awakened senses, and do not be ashamed to let the risen Lord accompany you in your life. He inspired you to leave, to come here, and to do this service for the Holy Father. And he will continue to inspire and accompany you. He wishes to make his hidden but powerful presence known to each of you, and to reveal to us the beauty, the fullness, and the vastness of his love, which he has vouched with the gift of his life. Dear guards, go forth with determination in your search for God. Courageously allow Christ to enter into your heart. He can and will give you insights and knowledge that you cannot download from the internet, study at any school or university, or acquire with money. He'll give you knowledge that will amaze you and make you realize in small steps that we human beings are not the result of a chance, but that there's a profound meaning and great purpose behind creation and our human existence. That is, eternal life with God, who's the mystery of love. Now you will trust this mystery when you swear, and the chaplain gives the oath in Italian.
Il sommo pontefice Francesco e I suoi legittimi successori, come pure di dedicarmi a loro con tutte le forze, sacrificando, ove occorra, anche la vita per la loro difesa. Assumo del pari questi impegni riguardo al collegio dei cardinali, per la durata della sede vacante. Prometto inoltre al comandante e agli altri miei superiori rispetto, fedeltà e obbedienza. Lo giuro che Dio e I nostri santi patroni mi assistono. Cars cardists.
And finally, the chaplain speaks in Romansh, the fourth official language of Switzerland. Dear guards, conscious and determined, take the oath now to serve the Holy Father with a high level of commitment. In doing so, you give the Church precious years in the prime of your life. This cannot be taken for granted, but your service in the Pontifical Swiss Guard will also give you much in return. Make the most of this time, which is so rich in diverse human, spiritual, and cultural experiences. Remain people who courageously and resolutely give their all, who constantly explore their own possibilities and limits, who are full of curiosity and desire for action, explore life in its uniqueness, live it intensively, and are also ready to serve it for the good of all. With confidence in God, you now swear, and the oath is read out in Romansh.
Sinceramain e honorablamein al Papa Regent Francesc et ses successors legitims, et imponder tot mias forzas per els, prompts shai ven pretendiu, tun frier miacna veta per lur shormec. Joi surprende les medemas obligations enviers il collegi dils cardinals durant la sedis vacanza dalla sedia apostolica. Jeu em permettel plinavon respect, fidei vladat ed obedientia enviers il signor comandant e mes ulteriors superiors. Jeu encirel asci franc che Deus e nos soins patrons gidien mai.
That was the chaplain to the Pontifical Swiss Guard, Father Columban Reichlin. And we will now hear the national anthem of the Vatican city-state and of Switzerland. And all those in the courtyard stand for the national anthems.
De l'État de la Cité du Vatican et de la Confédération Suisse.
Es folgen nun die Nationalhymnen des Staates der Vatikanstadt sowie der Schweizerischen Eidgenossenschaft. Wir bitten Sie, sich dazu zu erheben.
And at the conclusion of the two national anthems, the flag is now being brought into the main body of the courtyard, flanked by the two sergeants. And following the music, the fanfare, the 23 recruits will now make their oath.
Halbardier, Colli, Présent, Sergent. Hellebardier, Imstedt. Hier, Hochmeister.
The guards are being called by name, one by one, and they leave their sword with one of their companions and walk along in order to put their right hand into the air and his left hand onto the banner.
Je jure d'observer loyalement et de bonne foi tout ce qu'il a de m'être lu, aussi vrai que Dieu et nos saints patrons m'assistent. Hop!
We saw there that the first of the guards raised his right hand with his thumb, index finger and middle finger extended, and that's the gesture which symbolises the Holy Trinity. And he swore in his native tongue, first in French and second in German, the oath. And each of the oaths is yelled by the guard in their native language, and they exclaim, "I," followed by their name, "swear to diligently and faithfully abide by all that has just been read out to me. So help me God and his saints." And out of the 23 new guards, 12 speak German as their native language, 7 French, 2 in Italian, and 2 in Romansh. And we hear that after one of the guards has made their oath, it's another one of the guards in charge reads out the name of the new recruit 2 ahead of them in order to walk over to prepare to make the oath. And once the new recruits have sworn their allegiance and made their oath, we hear that the friends and family and all those present congratulate them on this. And after hearing the 3 other languages so far, we'll hear the first out of the 2 guards to give their oath in Romansh. And we see that most of the Swiss Guards, as we get to the final couple now making their oath today, have also been wearing the red ostrich feathers, which is one of the part of the uniform for these gala occasions. However, some of them, being part of the members of the band, have the yellow ostrich feathers, which we saw on the musicians leading the procession, and who will lead the procession back at the end of the swearing of the oath. And we're coming now to the final Swiss Guard, who will make his oath today, the final of the 23, and he will speak in French.
Moi, Albert des Maîtres, je jure d'observer loyalement et de bonne foi tout ce qui vient de m'être lu, aussi vrai que Dieu et nos sapatromacistes. Hop!
And at the conclusion now, a reminder of that oath, which all of the 23 guards have proclaimed in their native language. I swear to diligently and faithfully abide by all that has just been read out to me, so help me God and his saints. And we can now see that the flag has now been risen at the conclusion of the swearing of the oath. The flag carried by the Sergeant Major of the Swiss Guard, and flanked by 2 corporals. And at this moment, now that all of the guards have returned to their position, the atmosphere becomes a little bit more cordial, and the band will begin a short concert. The flag now being returned to the position where it was before the guards made the oath, and once again receiving the fanfare. And the musicians making their way towards the conductor. Who will now begin the concert. And we see that most of the guards there are in their standard uniforms, apart from the drummer with his yellow plumed helmet, and one of the other members of the band who is in a mainly red uniform to indicate a higher rank. And that previous piece of music there reflecting the lighter mood that we have moved into after the more formal occasion of the swearing of the oath.
Eseguiti dalla banda del corpo, avete appena sentito i seguenti pezzi: Feurig Blut di Hans Häuser, Quick March Holyrood di Kenneth Alford.
And the speaker now explaining the names of the pieces of music we have just heard.
Per finire, per la marcia d'uscita verrà eseguito il pezzo Rumisberger Marsch di Walter Josef.
Vous venez d'entendre la fanfare du corps jouer Feurig Blut de Hans Häuser, Quick March Holyrood de Kenneth Alford et Cornfield Rock de Jacob de Haan. Pour la marche de sortie, vous entendrez la Rumisberger Marsch de Walter Josef.
Sie haben soeben aufgeführt vom Gartenspiel gehört, Feurig Blut von Hans Häuser, Quick March Holyrood von Kenneth Alford sowie Cornfield Rock von Jakob de Haan. Zum Ausmarsch wird der Rumisberger Marsch von Walter Josef gespielt.
And the pieces of music from different eras, and obviously very different pieces of music, but all seeming to be appreciated by those attending the event this evening. And the new guards now return to their action stations. And the band once again starts up. And while we hear the fanfare and the music, we get to see a great glimpse of the Swiss Guards' famous outfit, their uniform, which they wear all the time whilst standing on duty around the Vatican City State, protecting the Holy Father in what is a great service to him, as well as to the cardinals and those who work in the Vatican, but mainly to the Holy Father first and foremost. But the new recruits being reminded that despite the nature of the uniform, they are to allow themselves to remain a unique person, bringing their own gifts, their own services to their service, to the core of the Swiss Guards. And we're now seeing the Vice Commander forming an exchange with the Commander, who moves over to the substitute for the Secretariat of State to explain to him that the swearing ceremony has come to a completion, and he will shortly give the order for the recruits to leave the courtyard, as we're now seeing. And from this moment, the 23 new recruits will begin their service of the Holy Father, a service that lasts at least 26 months, but can be extended. The members of the family and friends, close relations of the guards, showing their appreciation of the music and their great support to the new guards, the new recruits, as they have done throughout this liturgy, throughout this event, the ceremony this evening. And as I mentioned at the start of the commentary, this service's tone is the conclusion of the two-day events which mark the new swearing-in of the recruits, who celebrated Vespers yesterday evening in the Church of Our Lady of Mercy, followed by Holy Mass this morning by Cardinal Kurt Koch, and they have now received a warm they've now received a warm applause from those present, and they make their way back into the courtyard. And this now concludes the live broadcast of the ceremony of the Pontifical Swiss Guards swearing in of the 23 new recruits. My name is Ben Sinclair, and it was my pleasure to provide you with the live commentary for this ceremony. I'd invite you to visit the Vatican News web portal, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and YouTube accounts for coverage of today's ceremony, as well as other Vatican and world news. We'll be live again tomorrow morning from just before noon, Rome time, when the Holy Father will make his Regina Caeli weekly message and the recitation of the Marian prayer to the faithful gathered in St. Peter's Square. On behalf of Vatican Media, I'd like to thank you for joining us, as well as all of the technicians for making this broadcast possible. Praise be Jesus Christ, Laudetur Jesus Christus.
Les parents des gardes assermentés sont priés de se rendre à l'entrée Sainte-Anne par la porte de bronze. Ils attendront jusqu'à ce qu'ils soient invités à rejoindre leur fils dans la caserne. Les invités à l'apéritif officiel sont priés de préparer leur invitation et peuvent maintenant suivre la société de musique Helicon jusqu'à l'Aula Paolo VI. Le chemin pour ces invités passe par la même sortie que celle que les gardes viennent d'emprunter. Tous les autres invités sont priés de quitter la cour Saint-Damas par le même chemin qu'à leur entrée. Merci.
Die Eltern der nun vereidigten Gardisten werden gebeten, sich